The flames of the burning village painted the night sky orange and red. Smoke rose from the wooden houses like angry spirits escaping into the darkness. Grothic the Unbreakable stood at the center of the destruction, his massive green muscles glistening with sweat and blood. The Orc Chieftain raised his battle axe high above his head and roared with savage joy. Around him, his warriors celebrated their victory over the small human settlement. The treaty between the Orc clans and the Human Federation had stood for 50 years. It had been signed after the Great War, when both sides had lost too many lives. The humans had retreated to their cities and space stations. The Orcs had claimed the wild lands and forest territories. Peace had come at a heavy price, but it had come nonetheless. Now that peace was shattered, Grothic spat on the ground as he watched his warriors drag human prisoners through the mud. Men, women, and children. All of them would serve the clan now. The chieftain had grown tired of peace. His people were warriors. They were born to fight and conquer. The treaty had made them soft. It had made them weak. Tonight he would remind the galaxy what orcs truly were. A young orc warrior approached Grothic with fear in his yellow eyes. The chieftain turned to face him with irritation clear on his scarred face. "Chieftain, the communication tower. The humans managed to send a signal before we destroyed it." "They called for help," Grothic laughed. It was a deep and terrible sound that made the nearby prisoners cry out in terror. He grabbed the young warrior by his leather armor and pulled him close. "Let them come. Let all the humans come. I want them to see what happens when they think they can contain the orc race. We are not pets to be kept in a cage. We are the storm that will sweep across their precious federation." The young warrior nodded quickly and hurried away. Grothic turned his attention back to the burning village. This was just the beginning. Tomorrow they would march on the next settlement, then the next. Soon, the entire region would belong to the clans once more. But Grothic did not know what was coming. He did not understand the humans as well as he thought he did. 300 kilometers away, Captain Sarah Chun received a distress signal on her military transport ship. She was a small woman with short black hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. The scars on her arms told stories of survival against impossible odds. She had fought orcs before, during the border conflicts of her youth. She knew their strength, their ferocity, their pride. She also knew their weakness. "Commander, we have confirmed reports," her second officer reported. "The Bloodfang clan has attacked Riverside Settlement. Casualties are high. Survivors are being taken prisoner." Sarah's jaw tightened. She looked at the holographic map floating above her command table. The Riverside Settlement was home to 300 people. Farmers, teachers, children. They had lived there in peace for decades, believing the treaty would protect them. "How many warriors does Grothic command?" she asked. "Intelligence suggests approximately 2,000. They are well armed with traditional weapons and some stolen military technology." Sarah nodded slowly. Her transport ship carried only 50 soldiers. 50 against 2,000. The numbers were not in her favor, but she had something the orcs did not expect. She had human determination. "Send word to command. Tell them what has happened." Then set course for Riverside. Her officers exchanged worried glances. One of them stepped forward with concern on his face. "Captain, with respect, we cannot engage an army of that size. We should wait for reinforcements." Sarah turned to face him. Her eyes were cold and steady. "By the time reinforcements arrive, those prisoners will be dead or worse. I will not abandon innocent people to satisfy military protocol. We go now." No one argued further. They knew their captain. They knew she would rather die fighting than live with the guilt of inaction. The transport ship changed course and accelerated toward the burning settlement. Back at Riverside, Grothic was enjoying his victory feast. His warriors had slaughtered the livestock and were roasting meat over great fires. The smell of cooking flesh mixed with the smoke of destruction. The chieftain sat on a throne made from broken furniture, drinking stolen wine and watching his prisoners with cruel amusement. An old human man was dragged before him. The man's clothes were torn and his face was bloody, but his eyes showed no fear. Grothic found this interesting. "You are brave for a human," the chieftain said. "Most of your kind beg for mercy by now." The old man straightened his back despite his injuries. "Mercy is for those who deserve it. You have earned nothing but justice tonight, Orc." Grothic's warriors growled with anger at this insult, but the chieftain raised his hand to silence them. He leaned forward with genuine curiosity on his brutal face. "Justice? You humans speak of justice as if you understand it. You locked us away in the wilderness. You denied us the right to expand, to grow, to fulfill our destiny as conquerors. Where was justice for the Orc race?" The old man shook his head slowly. "The treaty gave your people peace. It gave them time to build something other than war. You could have created a civilization. Instead, you chose to remain savages." Grothic stood up suddenly, his massive form blocking out the firelight. He grabbed the old man by his throat and lifted him off the ground. "We are not savages. We are warriors. And tonight, we will show your precious Federation what warriors can do." He threw the old man aside like a broken toy. His warriors cheered and stomped their feet. The ground shook with their celebration. Then the lights appeared in the sky. At first, Grothic thought it was a shooting star, but the light did not fade. It grew brighter and larger as it descended toward the settlement. His warriors stopped their celebration and looked up with confusion on their faces. The transport ship emerged from the clouds like an angel of vengeance. Its engines roared as it slowed its descent, landing gear extending toward the ground. Grothic watched with narrow eyes as the ship touched down at the edge of the destroyed village. A ramp lowered from the ship's belly. Captain Sarah Chun walked down first, her rifle held across her chest. Behind her came her 50 soldiers, each one armed and ready for battle. Grothic laughed at the sight. 50 humans against 2,000 orcs. It was almost insulting. "Is this the best the Federation can send?" he called out. 50 soldiers to fight the Bloodfang clan? I have killed more than that before breakfast." Sarah stopped walking when she was 20 meters from the chieftain. Her soldiers spread out behind her in a defensive formation. She studied the massive orc with calm assessment. "I am Captain Sarah Chun of the Federation military. You have broken the Treaty of Peace. You have killed innocent civilians. You have taken prisoners. I am here to end this." Grothic spread his arms wide, his axe gleaming in the firelight. "Then come, little human. Come and try to end me. I will add your skull to my collection." Sarah raised her hand. Her soldiers raised their weapons. The orcs around Grothic gripped their axes and swords, ready for the battle to begin. Then Sarah spoke again. "Before we fight, I want you to understand something, Grothic. You think you know humans. You think we are weak because we prefer peace. You think we are soft because we build instead of destroy. But you have forgotten something important." She took a step forward. 50 years ago, when the war ended, your people had 200,000 warriors. The human military had lost almost everything. Our cities were burning. Our people were dying. But we did not surrender. We fought on. We adapted. We found ways to win battles that should have been impossible. She took another step. By the end of the war, your 200,000 warriors had become 40,000. We killed 160,000 orcs with broken weapons and empty supply lines. We did this because humans do not give up. We do not accept defeat. We find a way, no matter the cost. Grothic felt something cold in his stomach. Something he had not felt in many years. It was doubt. "Your 50 soldiers cannot defeat my army," he growled. Sarah smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "My soldiers are not here to defeat your army. They are here to keep you busy." A new sound filled the air. It was a deep humming that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Grothic looked up, and saw more lights appearing in the sky. Dozens of them. Then hundreds. The full might of the Federation military descended upon the settlement like a hammer falling from heaven. Battleships, transport carriers, fighter craft, and assault vehicles. Thousands upon thousands of soldiers dropping from the sky on armored descent packs. Grothok's warriors cried out in shock and fear. This was not a rescue mission. This was an invasion. Sarah raised her voice above the growing chaos. You wanted war, Grothok. You wanted to remind the galaxy what orcs can do. Well, I am here to remind you what humans can do. We do not forgive attacks on our people. We do not forget broken treaties. And we do not show mercy to those who murder our children. The Federation soldiers landed all around the settlement. Within minutes, the 2,000 orc warriors were surrounded by 10,000 human soldiers with advanced weapons and armor. Grothok realized his terrible mistake. He had thought the humans had grown weak during the peace. He had believed they had forgotten how to fight. But he was wrong. The humans had not forgotten anything. They had simply been waiting. Waiting for someone foolish enough to give them a reason? The battle was short and brutal. The orcs fought with their legendary ferocity, but they could not stand against the overwhelming force. Grothok himself killed a dozen soldiers before a plasma bolt finally brought him down. He fell to his knees, his axe slipping from his fingers. Sarah walked over to him as he bled into the mud. She looked down at the dying chieftain without hatred or triumph, only cold determination. You wanted blood to flow like rivers, she said quietly. You got your wish. It just was not the blood you expected. Grothok tried to speak, but only blood came from his mouth. His yellow eyes grew dim as his life faded away. The last thing he saw was the human captain standing over him, small and fragile, yet absolutely unbreakable. The prisoners were freed that night. The wounded were treated. The dead were honored. The surviving orcs were taken into custody to face justice for their crimes. Captain Sarah Chung stood among the ruins as dawn broke over the settlement. Her soldiers were helping the survivors gather what remained of their lives. It would take years to rebuild. But humans were good at rebuilding. They had done it many times before. A young soldier approached her with a question in his eyes. Captain, do you think there will be more attacks? Other clans that might follow Grothok's example? Sarah looked toward the rising sun. There might be. There are always those who think violence is the answer. But they will learn what Grothok learned tonight. Humanity is not weak. We are patient. We are builders. But when someone threatens our people, we become something else entirely. She turned to face her soldier. We become the storm that answers the storm. And we never stop until the threat is ended. The soldier nodded with understanding. He returned to his duties, leaving his captain alone with her thoughts. Sarah Chun watched the sun rise over the broken village and made a silent promise. She would protect her people. She would defend the innocent. And if anyone else tried to break the peace, they would face the same fate as Grothok the Unbreakable. Because humans never forget. And they never give up.